Now, speaking of more Batman, now we got the EW stuff that came about. Of course, the opening sketch had the video with Robbie, Pat, and Miss Zoe Kravitz right here. So here it is right here. I'm sure you guys saw some of it. Yeah. It's always there's a whole video. I'm not going to play the video of what they talked about, but they talk about taking on the role and all that stuff. And a lot of people were passing around this. I mean, it's always weird to me when when people have to do like photo shoots and stuff like this. I mean, they're pros, I get it, but they have to like look at each other longingly into their eyes and stuff like that. It's always very interesting. I wonder what they're drinking right there. Scotch, whiskey, bourbon, I don't know. Night moves, Robert Pattinson and Zoe Kravitz take flight in The Batman. So, yeah, they just kind of talk about this. That totally spun me a little anxiety. Yeah, they talk about, obviously, getting on the motorcycles and stuff like that, and how hot. There was one particular part in the interview where apparently when they were doing the first times that they were together, they were mainly doing the fights that we see in the mayor's mansion that we see in the trailer. And apparently at one point, like I guess when Batman throws Catwoman onto that table and they're like talking, it's so hot in that bat suit. Apparently, like the only way that sweat could actually come out was like at the tip of his nose, so it actually would drip on Kravitz. Jesus Christ, that's got to be like a little bit awkward right there. So. And then of course, they talk about all kinds of things like that, about talking about the first time they screen test, which of course he was wearing the Val Kilmer bat suit, which is a great bat suit right there. There's another shot with them right there, just looking at each other. Weird. But yeah, and I said right here, Zoe Kravitz says they have quite a strong connection pretty quickly, and I think they're both trying to ignore that. They're both very surprised by feeling a connection with somebody because that's quite rare for them. But it puts both of us out of the comfort zone. Bruce created Batman in his very binary world view where he believes there are bad guys and there are victims. Selina comes along and he's like, oh, well, you're a thief. You're basically the same as the Penguin, and yet there's something in her I recognize. It's going up against his snap judgment. So they talk about how, they're trying to feel each other out, but there's a connection there, which we know when it comes to the relationship that Selina and Bruce have. And, when it comes to this, even Zoe Kravitz said when she was doing her research on playing Selina and playing Catwoman, she didn't want to go too crazy with everything. She just mainly went to the year one book, I guess. That's what she said. That's what she said. She didn't want to get too crazy with all let me look at this iteration or that iteration. I mean, I'm sure she had some ideas, but she didn't want to get too crazy with. So mainly she just was reading the year one book that mainly, I'm sure she read some Long Halloween as well, because obviously Matt was big time on that and everything. So yeah, can't wait to see their chemistry on the big screen right here. Let's see. Warner Brothers kept coming back. I almost getting annoyed. I was like, wait, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, Matt Reeves talking about all that. I mean, it's a big, huge, long article. We got this new still right here from, which I'm really dying to see what this whole thing right here, when obviously Batman loses his shit and starts wanting to start fighting cops in the cage. And Gordon presses him up against the fucking cage right there, man. I cannot wait to see that scene right there. Night moves. Too sexy, too sexy. And then you got this right here. Dizzy. Yeah. And then you got this shot right there, which you've seen. And then we have right here, not that, this. Okay, so we got some more shots right here. Obviously, there's more stuff when it comes to being interviews. Apparently, Robert Pattinson's going to be on Jimmy Kimmel, I think, tonight. And Jeffrey Wright was on Colbert yesterday, so he talked a little bit about all that goodness right there. There's a good little happy shot of them. Aw, how adorable. Then we got this shot right here. Look at that, Mr. fucking... he is pissed. Look at how pissed off he is, man. Pissed. Look at those eyes. Got the teeth showing. And we got, of course, we never really see, Paul Dano's face when it comes to all this. It's always very interesting. We got a new shot of Catwoman right there. She also talked about, Zoe Kravitz also talked about how, you know, coming up with the costume idea. She's not Catwoman yet. So I know some people were hating on it because, you know, she's essentially wearing a beanie for a cowl, but it's like, yeah, it's her first costume. It's a motorcycle suit that she's wearing. She has a whip. And then she just made, of course, you know, this, out of a beanie or like a ski mask or whatever the fuck. Made like the cowl, which probably doesn't play too well when it comes to rain. So, of course, I mean, I don't know if by the end we're going to see like an actual cowl and get the goggles and everything. That'd be pretty sweet. I hope she gets goggles. I want her to get the goggles, but that's a cool shot right there. Got Robbie Pat showing off his nipples right there, obviously, you know, doing some nipple action right there. Apparently, Selena, of course, she works at a club. I don't know if it's the same club that is owned by Cobblepot, possibly. I don't know. There's a possibility of that. So yeah, you can watch the interview. Just go to the CW channel and watch that video.